Okay, so Joule, you can get there by going to learn.ndm.edu. In a second, I'm going to share my screen. So this way you can see exactly what I see. Screen. If you have any questions, please just unmute yourself and ask, or you can type in the chat if it's a question you want like answered in like a delayed fashion. I can get back to you. Okay, so this is the dashboard. So I've just logged in. I'm able to access all of my courses that are right now primarily involved with fall. I can go back, as you can see in the navigation, there is a history of all the courses that I've been in the past. I can go to all the 2020 courses. I can also then go into the past. I can go to prior terms and find those as well. It comes in handy if after you develop a course, you really like how it went, you liked all the resources you had, you liked all the assignments, how you set it up, it was like perfect, you're willing, you're happy to migrate it over into another class. I can also show you how to import that into a next iteration, a next course for like, say, if you're going from fall to winter or something. Although it's probably not going to be very useful since we are switching over to Brightspace. So just FYI, but I can show you how to do the function. Okay, to enter the course, I'm just going to go to one of my empty shells. I have not prepared yet. These courses don't start until I think the second week of September. So I'm just going to go into an empty course, which is this 577.90 course right here. And you can see it's blank and it's empty. Okay. For to kind of get started, anytime you want to edit the page, you have to come up here to the top right hand side of Joule and click on this button that says click to turn editing on. If I don't click that, what happens is Joule is kind of locked down. It's almost like in a read-only mode. I mean, I'm still able to click on links. I'm still able to interact with the site, like download files, but I'm not able to actually change, edit, or delete anything off the site. I have to actually click on the edit button. So it's typically on the top right-hand side, right underneath my name. And again, your name is up here. You're more than welcome to log out from here. You can also, if you want to, switch the role. So this way, if you can't remember if did I make something hidden for the students, you can always switch your role from an instructor to a student, so you can see exactly what they see. Just going to hit cancel. But if you ever need to, you just go right to the top right-hand side where the menu is. Okay. Step one, announcements. So every course comes loaded with an announcement section. If you put an announcement here, it will typically send an email to your class when users are entered into your course. I will say I just looked in on one of my undergraduate courses that starts on Monday, and I have all of my students registered. So as of today, all of my students are there. It comes in useful when you want to send an announcement to your students, and also when you want to send emails to them, they'll be able to access whatever you send. You can see that it says topic 1 right here right now is hidden from students. I think that is now kind of one of the like one of the standard functions of Joule right now is it hides the topics until you make them visible. The way to make them visible is to come over here to edit and click on show topic. And now topic 1 is visible to my students. So they can see, the only thing that they can see right now is my welcome, my announcement, and topic 1. All the rest of them are blank. You can also make certain items hidden as well. The only thing you'll do is once I add something, I can show you how to hide it, how to make it visible. Comes in handy if you have like presentations or readings you want them to have access to, but you don't want them to have it yet. You can load stuff, hide it, and just prepare it for when it's needed. For topic 1, if you don't like that title, you don't have to hit the edit button if you just want to change the name of this these administration blocks or these instructional blocks. They're kind of developed in like almost like a block architecture here. So if you want to change this, I can just call this week 1 if I wanted to. And it just changes the name. And then when you're done, you just hit the return button. It will then change the name. How you can organize and structure your online course, it's really up to you and what your topic or really how you structure your course. You could do it week by week, which is extremely helpful if you want to, if you can think of a course, if you can break up all your content week to week, that's helpful. Some people do it by module, like by course topic or something like that. If I'm in law, maybe I'm doing federal law, or I'm doing, a state law, or I'm doing education law, or I'm doing something like that where I can structure it by topic. That's another thing that I could do. Some people will do it, especially online, they'll do what's called modules, where they'll have module 1, where a student will work through module 1. It could be that it takes them 3 days. It could take a week. It could take 2 weeks. It's really up to how long you schedule it for. It's just a way to kind of section off content. So anyway, that's just a little bit of the ideas on how you can structure your course. I'm not telling you how to do it, just ways that you could do it. Okay. Now, anytime you want to add something, I will say this: once editing is on, it does allow dragging and dropping. So if you have a PowerPoint presentation that you want to put in there, you can do it a few ways, but the easiest way is just, let me kind of clear out some area here. Let's say right here, I have this document I want to put in here. I can drag this in here, and it's going to show up there, no problem. It's just a PDF. It shows up there. It has its name. If I just want to change the name of how it shows up in Joule, I can click this little pencil and edit the title. If you want to hide, you can come over here to edit. You can hide it if you want to. This means that the student will not see it. I can then, of course, make it available to them. You can also duplicate things. You can move it if you want to. And I will say this is that when you have editing on, you see the little, almost like the cross show up here. It means I can drag it and move things around. So if I wanted that to go before my announcements, I could drag it up and down. But in this case, I'm just going to drag it down because it's not going to be, it doesn't have to be above my announcement section once it's visible. Okay, so you can drag in PowerPoints, you can drag in Word documents, you can drag in PDFs. Pretty much any common supported file can show up here. For YouTube, some people ask, can you embed YouTube inside of Joule? My suggestion is just link it. Linking it is the best way. I will show you if you want to have Joule, if you want to have a YouTube clip show up in Joule, I'll show you how you can do that, but it's 9 times out of 10 people just don't complain if they click a link to a movie. That's something that you can obviously do. Anything you can really, and I'll show you how to link outside resources fairly easily. Okay. Right here, add an activity or resource. This is going to pretty much be where you find everything. Okay. Now, depending on how you want to have your students submit work, if you're going to have them submit things digitally, I've known some, especially since we're remote, distance learning is what we're doing this semester. Some people have that kind of mindset, oh, just email me, and that's just very chaotic. It just doesn't work. Joule has a way. It's a one-stop shop where you can actually set up an assignment. So let's say I go here, I click on assignment, and the nice thing is as you go through Joule and you want to click on things, it gives you an information section. It tells you exactly what this feature can do for you and how it provides and what type of functionality it'll provide for you and the students. So I'm just going to enter my assignment right here and hit add. And then this is where the fun begins when it comes to actually setting things up. So I'm going to call this assignment 1. And this is getting to know you. Okay. Now, you can enter a description. This is a blah, 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 blah. Okay. You can display it on the description on the course page. So what happens is if I type this right here and I leave that blank, it's not going to show up on my course page. they have to click on the assignment to see what type of description I put in there. If I check the box that says display description on the course page, that means when I go back out onto the main Joule course page, it'll actually include that description I just typed. You can add files in here if you have directions or a rubric that you want to put in here. You can just, obviously, you can click on it to find and retrieve the documents, or you can just drag and drop them in here. Okay. Availability is extremely important because it kind of gives you all of the dates for your assignment. Allow submissions from, hey Patty, good to see you. We're just getting started on Joule. I'm just showing people, I'm showing Rachel assignments. So we've just added an assignment and now we're in availability. I'm showing you how to allow submissions to occur, how to set up due dates, and you can also do cutoff dates and remind me to grade by. Okay, so allow submissions from, it's kind of like what opens the assignment. So let's say, for instance, I don't want anybody to be able to submit this until after my class is over or something like that. What you can do is you can set up a date for that. Due date. So this is the due date, as in, students turn this in at this time. Afterwards, if they turn it in late, it will actually come up and state that it's late. So it actually tracks that for you. You're always welcome to turn these off if you want to. And then you're just collecting the assignment and that's it. Okay. You can also set up a system-based reminder to grade it. So let's say it's due August 27th. You can set this up for like August 28th just to remind you. So once you log into Joule, it'll give you a little message up on the top right-hand side stating, hey, you have to grade this assignment number 1. Okay. And again, anytime, if you don't want to do that, you can just uncheck those enable boxes. Okay. Submission type. So there's 2 different types of submissions. You can either, your students can either submit it by file, as in they load the Word document, they load the PDF, they load whatever, they basically are giving you a file. Or if it's like, say, for instance, a journal, or it's just them typing or writing, or them typing or adding something, you can also do an online text area. It's just them typing into a very simple interface. It's basically like a very light version of Microsoft Word. They're able to edit it, to change it, it's basically just a word processor, very simple version. Maximum number of uploaded files. You can say how many files that they can load up there. So let's say, for instance, you have an assignment that has 2 or 3 files that have to go along with it. Maybe one is a completed like task part 1, part 2, part 3. It's all in 3 different documents for some reason. You can have them still submit it all at the same time. It's fine. Maximum submission size, 500 megabytes. That's a gigantic file, so I don't think you ever have to really worry about that. And I would just leave acceptable file types empty and blank. It'll accept pretty much everything. I will say this: if you notice that there's an assignment or a document that doesn't show up, sometimes students will use was it a MacBook, or they'll use Apple and they'll use Pages, or they'll use Keynote, or they'll use Sheets or something like that. Those are Apple's versions of Microsoft Word documents. They're not considered common files. If you notice that a student has submitted work that you can't open, 9 times out of 10, it's because they have an Apple device and they've submitted you incompatible file. Luckily, in those Mac-based like software, they can still save it as a Microsoft Word or Excel or PowerPoint file. Just ask them to resubmit it in the proper format. And that's you can just email them or something. Okay, a lot of people don't. If you want to look at feedback types, you can obviously give them comments or feedback files. They're automatically given to you. You can also do annotated PDFs. That is if you want to go on there, it gives you a preview of the document, and you can go on there and actually add comments and feedback without actually even downloading the document. So it's really helpful if you're out and about and you just really want to give them the feedback inside of Joule. Let's see, submission settings. Require students to click the submit button. You always want to really keep yes. Group submission settings, notifications. I'm just going to leave those alone. Grades. Okay, so these are important. Now, you can set this up a few different ways. Well, number one, if you're doing it, if you're just trying to collect an assignment like it's a proposal, it's not graded, click on none. They'll still be able to turn it into you. You'll still be able to give them feedback, but it's worth no points. Okay. If you click on points, you can decide how many points you want to give them. So let's say, for instance, this is my first assignment. It's worth 10 points. Okay. So I've done it. I've added it. Some people ask me, well, what if I want to do scale and something like that? You're more than welcome to get it, but this is really just Joule for beginners. I'm trying to give you the easiest way to set up your class. My suggestion is just have your class equal 100 total course points. Keep stuff easy. So your assignment might be worth 10 points or 5 points or 7 points or whatever. Just keep it simple. So this is 10 points, and obviously I'm going to have 90 more points available in my course eventually. Okay. And when I'm done, I hit save and return to course. Oh, Joule is being very slow today. And here's my assignment number one. So when students turn it in, I'm just going to enter it just to show you what it looks like. So students are ready to turn it in. They'll come right here, and it'll look a little bit different for them because you're the instructor and they're the student. What they would do is they would take their document, they would take their assignment, they would put it in here, and they would submit it to you for assessment. Okay. When you're ready to grade, you can either click on view all submissions, in which you can see the big, class list and all their assignments and all of their, all their assignments, all the documents that they've given to you, or you can hit the grade button. I'm just going to hit grade just because it's helpful to show you exactly what the interface looks like. So this is, let's see, Michelle. Okay, let's pretend that this right here is the assignment. On the right-hand side, I give her the points. And the feedback comments I give her, I can type, this is a great, this is great. This is what I love about your paper. This is what I think you need to work on, yada, yada, yada. When you're done, you hit the save and show next, and it just keeps on going through all of your submissions. So it really makes a nice workflow for you as you go through and do your assignments. So that makes life a lot easier, especially in this iteration of Joule. In the past, you'd have to kind of do it one file, one submission at a time. Okay, so let me hit the back button. I don't want to come in here anymore. Okay, so anytime you want to get back to the main screen, you can always find the breadcrumbs right here and go right back to your class number. I'm just going to go right back here. Okay, so I've shown you assignments. Let me show you some of the other things that you can add. I don't use attendance. I just really keep track of it in other places, but if you would like to explore how to use attendance, you're more than welcome to. If you want to build a quiz in here, it's fairly user-friendly. You can build your quizzes in here. Okay, I'm going to come down here because resources, I think, are really where you want to spend most of your time doing things. If you have a lot of instructions you want to give to students, you can give them a PowerPoint. You can put a document up and develop a document and put it up there. If it's a long one, you could consider putting forth the effort in actually building a book. And what this basically is just a bunch of web pages connected together inside of Joule. Let's say you manually just want to add a file. You can click on here. Let's say I'm ready to add my syllabus. Okay, so I'm just going to come right down here. I clicked on File. I click on Add, and I'm just going to add my syllabus real quick. Let's see, add a file. This is my syllabus. Okay, I can give a description if I want to. And this is where I can find my document. Choose File. And let's act like this isn't syllabus, but let's say that this is the syllabus for my assignment. Upload this file. And once it's done, it's there. I can just hit the save to return to course. So that's just how to add a file. Or again, if your editing is on, you can just drag and drop them in. Okay, I just wanted to show you multiple ways to add a file. Okay. Okay, there might be an instance where you have multiple files or multiple resources that you want to just kind of clump together. You can also add a folder. Okay, the folder, I'm not going to go through and add a bunch of documents right now, but if let's say you want to add, let's say you have assignment one. Assignment one might have directions, it may have a template, it might have a rubric. You can put all three of these assignments into one folder. So this way they just go there and they're not having to keep on clicking on all these different folders to try and find what you're looking for. I'm sorry, files to look what you're looking for. They can just go right to a folder. Label. Now you can put gigantic titles inside of Joule if you want to. I'm just going to add one to show you how it could be done. So this is just a label. I'm just going to type in classwork. You can also change the size of it. So I'm going to change this from paragraph size. I'm going to make this into heading 2. So you see how much bigger it is now? I can also change the color if I want to. That's one of these. Let's see. There it is. Change it to blue, because why not? Okay, then I hit the save and return, and then let me show you what it means by label. So now I have classwork right here. So what I can do is maybe I do classwork and maybe I do homework, or I do classwork and I do assignment or something. If you don't want to go through that long process, you can always hit the duplicate button to where you have 2 classworks, but you're able to come in here and edit this, edit settings, and you're able to just change it from classwork to maybe I'll do readings. And so let's say, for instance, classwork, this assignment, right, this resource right here, this is my classwork. My students are going to work in here. But my assignment one, let's see, let's just say my syllabus, let's just pretend it is let's just say that this syllabus technically is my readings. I'm giving them a PDF for them to read or something. I could put it there. So that's how to use a label. It's just to really kind of separate your resources into little sections. Again, how can you use this? You could do homework if you want to assign homework. If you want to do like resource, like if you want to organize it by readings or videos or presentations, or just label it resources, you can do that as well. Labels come in helpful once you have like 20 or 30 resources underneath here. Sometimes it's easier to separate and categorize stuff.
Ryan, may I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
I went to Jennifer Kerr's voice thread this morning. And so if I was to make a voice thread, how would I post that? Under what resource category does that fall?
It would be the next one, which is URL. So
Okay.
what VoiceThread usually typically does is it will create a once you're ready to like share it with your students, it'll generate a link that you'll share with the students. Okay.
Okay.
So, and URL is going to be the most helpful because whether you have a YouTube video, you have a
Mhm.
website you want to share with them, you have a VoiceThread resource you want to share with them, a Google Doc or anything, it's going to be a URL that you're going to share in here. So let's just
Okay.
say add, and it's
So
anything
add
that you
YouTube
want.
channel.
So let's say that's reading video. Okay. What you would then do is put in a URL link. So let's just, goodness gracious. Just gonna, let's just pretend http://www.youtube.com. Now, this will just take me to YouTube. But what you're going to do is if you want to add like a video, you have to go to YouTube and get the specific unique URL address to put here. I just went and found, here, you know what, let me not cheat you all. Let me actually go to YouTube and find something. I'll turn off sharing just for a second. Let me just find a resource to share with you all. Let's see. File new tab. Okay, so I found a link to a video I have, so let me hit share screen again. Okay, so here we go. Gonna have it up, and there we go, sharing again. Okay, so I've now here's my reading video. So it's an actual unique YouTube video. I'm gonna hit save and return, and it's gonna show up as an active link inside of Joule. It's being a little slow today. It's 4:30, that's why. Okay, here we go. So here's my reading video, and if I click on it, it'll now work. So this is one of my Zoom sessions I did. Anyway, so that's how to add a YouTube clip. You can obviously also, if you find Loyola Notre Dame Library, if you find a resource on there that you like, you can put PDFs in here just fine. Links to resources. If you want to connect and do use other digital tools like VoiceThread or Google Forms or Google Docs or a Padlet, something along the lines of that, you're able to add it links relatively easily here. Okay, so let's say, for instance, and again, you can keep on just building this over and over again underneath here and just keep on adding as you go. If you want to send a message to your class, you can do it one of two ways. Number one, you can always do announcements. Announcements will send a message out to your students, and it usually sends it to their live.ndm.edu account. So we'll send it to their Notre Dame email accounts. What I like to do also is I actually compose new emails. What happens is I used to get nervous that sometimes announcements would go to spam folders, no matter what, sometimes the systems are just, goodness only knows. I find that I always had better luck with composing new emails. So I just click on this quick mail, compose new email. And what I can do is I can here's all my class right here. If I hit add all, I can then type in whatever. Again, I can also add additional emails in here if they have secondary email you have to send it to. I add the subject and I can add the message right here. I can also add files that I want to give to them. Now, I will warn you, if you send it from Joule, the files actually show up as links that the students will have to click on. It's just an extra step, but they can get the resources that you send to them. So that's really helpful when you want to do that. You can always go to Outlook and make a gigantic class list of all of the emails and send it that way. But I like to go here because it's my one-stop shop. It's you click on it, you add all 15 students at once, you can type it all to them, you can give it to them. If you're doing synchronous sessions, like if you're teaching using Zoom during a session, it's really helpful to send it to your class in this way. So that way you can send them the Zoom link and directions on how to connect to Zoom. It becomes very helpful. So this way you can, instead of sending it to 15 different students, you can send it to them. You can send it right through here, and it will automatically send that message to all 15 accounts, rather than you having to pick and choose people in Outlook. Or you can do it in announcements if you'd like that as well. But I just like the quick mail interface. It makes life a lot easier. Okay, so that is email. So I'm going to go back.
Hey, Ryan,
Yep.
if you're going to cover this, just stop me. But with the assignments, is there a way to have them run through one of those plagiarism checkers? I think I saw it in some list that you pulled up. Yeah.
Okay. So it's Turnitin. Yeah. So we have
Turnitin.
So we have Turnitin. I don't use it a great deal because I don't have them running a lot of research papers. You can have them do it a few different ways. You can have the students sign up for Turnitin, and they can submit you the analysis report before they give it to you for grading, or you can actually put Turnitin as links into here. I don't know all the directions on how to do it. You'd have to reach out to Krista Holder-Smith. She really is the guru when it comes to Turnitin, and she can probably give you some resources on how to set it up for your class.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yep. So, but Rachel, you can do it a few different ways. As I said before, students are able to automatically go and do that type of like turn it in, like the plagiarism detection. They can actually give you the report, show you, show the report to you while they send it, while they submit it. They could do it that way, or you can ask them, make sure you check it before you submit it to me. And then of course you could also check the submission as well. So there's a
How would I
couple
check
different
it?
ways.
Is it in Joule to turn it in?
Turnitin can be connected into Joule, but Turnitin is an outside source. So what happens is the school pays for the service. You are able to connect it into Joule just fine. So if you go to that whatever, like I've never actually played with it, but
I think I saw it in the resource list.
Yep, I'm getting there.
There it is. 3 up from
yep, I found it. Yep.
list.
So, and again, if your course is a FA 18 course, consider using, so it gives you a bunch of it. But anyway, you can add this. You type it in here, but then you also probably would have to go through the all the other information and prepare for it.
Okay.
So, originality reports and options, grade mark options and stuff. So there is the way to do the turn it in. The issue is I haven't actually pressure tested it at all. So my suggestion is if you want like clarity, email Krista Holder-Smith. She can probably give you just suggestions on how to handle using Turnitin in your classroom, or what the best ideas are to integrate Turnitin easily using it. Like what type of workflow should they do with students? She'll probably give you the options that you can do.
Okay.
Thanks. No problem. But yeah, that integration, it's probably going to even be more seamless when we take over, when we use Brightspace in January. Not saying that Joule is flawed or anything like that. It's just, I think that since we're all learning it, I'm going to learn a lot as I go too with Turnitin. So it'll be as much a help to me as it is to anybody else. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it integrates. Okay, let's take a look at gradebooks. Okay, so there's a couple different things. I find, and I'm trying to be practical. A lot of times with assignments, you may collect like 3 of your 5 assignments. The other 2, you may just give them points. You don't want to go through the process I showed you how to set up an assignment. Maybe they're working in a collaborative team and you're like, oh, I'm just going to use a rubric or something like that. I'm going to give them their feedback outside of the system. How exactly can I do that? You can do that inside of Gradebook. If you go to Gradebook Setup, you'll see that my assignment's right here. So the assignment that I set up and I created, assignment number 1, getting to know you, that's my assignment number 1. You can do a few ways, okay? Now, I can either go out to Joule again and keep on adding assignment 1, 2, 3, setting it up on my course website. Or if there's an assignment I'm going to grade outside of Joule, say for instance, it is a collaborative paper that 3 students are working on it together. They're just going to email it to me or something like that. The way that I'm going to grade it is, okay, well, I'll give them back their documents, but I'm just going to manually put the grade into Joule. What you can do is hit add grade item, and it's going to set it up inside the system for you to where it's just going to be a place where you can just click and type on different buttons. So I'm just going to call this collaborative paper. I have to remember to erase this because this is actually a course that I'm offering in 2 weeks. Collaborative assignment. Okay. Maximum points. I'm going to call it. We'll call it 10. Boop. Okay. And you can also, of course, do the item weights if you want to. I keep stuff simple. I don't worry about the weights and stuff like that. I just consider course points up to 100 points. So what this means now that I have collaborative assignment right here, is what I would do is when I hit view, This assignment is the one, assignment number 1 is the assignment that my students are turning in to me. That means that it's going to be graded on Joule on the site, where I'm going to go through each screen and grade each assignment. This one right here is the one that I'm grading outside of the system, the collaborative assignment. So I can come in here and start typing in all the points and go here, and just keep on typing down if I want to. That's the easiest way to set up your grade book. It makes life very easy. It's less complicated. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to go now to back here, and I'm going to show you how to set up a discussion. Now, discussions can either be graded or not graded, but I'm going to go ahead and hit add an activity. I'm going to look for the activities, and I'm going to look for the discussion right here. Boop, hit add. So I'm just going to give the forum name discussion number 1. Okay. The description, again, if I type this out, some people use this as the prompt. Some people just say in the description, here are the rules, here's how you're assessed, here's how here's what we expect. And again, you can hit display description on the course page if you want to. You can click on which type of forum type you want. I typically just tell people just stick to the standard forum for general use. It's the easiest way. It's the most manageable. It also gives you the most flexibility in how you format and structure your discussion. Post options. There's, allow marking as substantive. There's allow post bookmarking. A lot of this stuff you don't use. You can hit display word count if you want to. If you tell students, oh, a list of reply has to be at least 250 words, you can click on that and it will do a word count for you. Attachments, subscriptions means that students can subscribe and they can actually get notifications when stuff happens. So this way they don't have to babysit the forum. Okay, grade. Obviously, discussions that start off as a default is 9, but you can obviously do a manual grade. That is that you're going through and manual is you're going to the grade book and giving them points manually, okay? Or you can do rating, where you can actually hit rating, and let's say I'm doing 5 points right here is the max. What'll happen is that discussion forum, the maximum points they get is 5 points, but they can also get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0. I haven't checked if it'll do 0. I imagine it would do a 0. I am going to warn you though, if you're like, oh, this is kind of like a 4.5, it doesn't let you do like half points. So it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I'm going to hit save and return to course. And there's the discussion right there. Now, where to put I'm just going to enter here and show you what your students will see. Add a new discussion. So underneath there, they can click that and they basically will create threads underneath my main discussion. They can go in, they can reply to their colleagues if you want to. In fact, you want to ask them to try and collaborate. You want them to communicate with more than just you. You want to find you want to create and generate rules where they're trying to be more dynamic, that they're getting involved with other classmates, not just you. It's not a one-way conversation. It's not a two-way conversation. It becomes a multifaceted conversation. So try and find ways to, I won't say force them, but try and find ways to where they have to collaborate with other students as well, where they have to hit reply to so many different posts or something. Also, try and set up the expectations on how they hit reply. Nothing superficial like good job or way to go or nice. I agree with this 100%. You really want to have them express what their thoughts are, what their opinions are, why they liked it, why they disagree with it. As long as they're respectful, they can obviously disagree with it too. But they have to really communicate their thoughts more than just some sort of superficial 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, it's not social media. It's supposed to be like a discussion where they really are being not only reflective but inflective. They're also communicating their thoughts on the topic.
And Ryan, if you wanted to spell that out, would you be using the description box when you first put up the discussion number 1, if you wanted them to see it on this
Yeah.
screen,
Yeah.
is that
So the way that I would put the forum is, let me see right here. Let me hit welcome. Okay. Okay. So how I would do is I'm just going to hit edit settings and show you exactly where I would put
Okay.
the content, where I'd put it. I'd put the prompt right here. Prompt
Okay.
right here. And if you want them to see it on the course site again, you can hit display description on course page. And this is where the prompt would be.
So they would see it 2 places then. They could think about it before they opened it up to actually do it, and then they would see it again.
Yeah. So they could think
Okay.
about it. They can, and when they click it on here, when you actually enter here, you see it right here as well.
Yes.
So you see it right underneath, and now they can actually hit add a new discussion and just type away. And the way that it looks is students will just have a bunch of different lines and sections, so they can pick the student that they want to reply to. So they click enter, reply. They can read the posts and reply to others and stuff. So any questions on the discussion? Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything really else. If you want to develop quizzes and tests, you can come into, again, add an activity or a resource. I'm not going to go through all the nuances on how to do it. It's fairly user-friendly. You know, you can do multiple choice. In fact, if I click on here and hover, it'll tell you exactly what it offers you. You can do timed tests. You can do multi-formatted tests. You could do like one area of multiple choice, you know, fill in the blank. You can do essay-based assignments and stuff. There's a lot of different things that you can do in here. If you set it up to be a multiple choice, you can create the answer key and it'll actually grade it for you. But of course, if you set up, you know, short answer, or if you set up, paragraph writing or written questions, you'll have to obviously go in and manually grade them. For the quiz, once it's done, it will show up as an item. Once you're graded, it'll show the point value, whatever you set it up as, will show up inside the grade book. Let's see, you can open the test up at certain times. So let's say, for instance, I'm going to run the test at 6 p.m. tonight, and it'll go until 7 p.m. You can set up that window to where you're like, okay, at 6 p.m. it's going to open up, at 7:30 it's closing. So you give them that 90-minute window, and it will, at the end of that, it will hit submit on whatever they've done already. I think of anything else. A lot
Brian,
of
do you know whether that allows you to put pictures in or any kind of map?
in the discussion forums, let's see, in announcements, discussion forums, it will allow you to add pictures in as attachments.
And what about quizzes? In the quiz, can you do that there?
Oh goodness, I do not remember anymore. The
That's
reason I used to, because if you build it like Google Forms will actually let you build Google quizzes now and put images in. I
Right.
don't know if Joule allows you to put images in. It used to, like in Blackboard and all those other old learning management systems, it used to let you like put images in, but I don't know because I've only used it for multiple choice quizzes.
It's just a way to get around the fact that you don't have math type embedded. You know, if you were to write it in a Word document and then take a picture of it, then you can put it in and they can still see the nicely written mathematical equation.
Yep.
And then they can generate an answer.
You can also, if you don't want to, I'm trying to think of a few ways that you could do it. You can also just give them an additional resource that they have to use during the test. The issue is if it's like if they enter the quiz, they may not, they probably won't be able to jump out of the window. So yeah,
I'll peek at it, see what it looks like.
You can ask Crystal Holder-Smith. She could probably tell you if, but I imagine that they will let you put images in to quizzes and to the resources and stuff. So Okay, I've just about reached the end of my my session. I'm gonna hit the stop share. I'm also gonna hit stop recording, and I'm gonna answer any questions that you all have.